Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to the first Control-Screen podcast. I'm Alec, and joining me is...
I'm Skyler.
He is indeed Skyler.
I am the one, well, I'm probably not the only, but I'm a very select few of Skylers out there. Very rare kind. Very rare breed.
Absolutely false. I know a bunch of Skylers.
Bullshit. They spell it differently. Totally. I'm unique.
It is true, though. They do spell it differently. It's really weird.
They spell it wrong anyway.
It's true. They do spell it wrong.
But anyway, I don't know. This is our first podcast, of course, on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking of a wide variety of things, mostly technical, a lot of movie-based stuff, a lot of science. Well, maybe a little bit of science, not a lot, but we'll go into that.
Yeah, a lot of entertainment/technology sort of things, or just things that are interesting to us. So
yeah. So hopefully we don't bore you to death, because that would be a real drag.
if we do bore you to death, make sure you write in the comments section and let us know that you were bored to death.
Just make sure to blame Alec and
Exactly.
not me, because my ego is very fragile.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the topics of today are we're going to be talking about the SpaceX landing in the ocean.
Well, on a barge in the ocean, but
It's still in the ocean,
yeah,
though.
yeah, sure.
We're going to be talking about the Doctor Strange set photos that came out recently.
Yes, we
That
are.
should be a hoot. We're going to be talking about the recently released Rogue One trailer and thoughts on it. And finally, if we get to it, which we should be able to have our opinions on the Civil War reactions that came out this week.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and jump right into that. Skylar, you were following the SpaceX thing very frugally. I wasn't able to this week. I wanted to see it, couldn't see it, saw it afterwards, but it was still amazing. Your opinions.
I love SpaceX so much. Like, that company is, like, you know, a lot of our parents grew up with NASA and, like, up and coming, landing on the moon and crap.
Right.
So I feel like this is our generation's NASA, where we're seeing this new rocket program become these huge innovators and taking giant steps, and it's crazy to see how far they've come, to where, like, every past couple of months, SpaceX has been launching rockets and trying to land on the barge. And,
Right.
you know, they've gotten really close a couple times, and you see these huge fireballs. And to see them finally land it, it's such a huge step. And watching it live was, like, this moment where, like, I was just shaking in my seat. Like, I didn't know what to do. And the crowd was going wild. And I don't know if you saw the recording of the live footage.
Yeah, I saw the recording of it, and those people were just there, and rightfully so. They were
Right.
going just fucking
Like,
nuts in there.
The only thing I could compare it to is when Curiosity landed on Mars. How that crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
But this one was so much better, and it lasted so much longer. Like, the poor commentators, their social media team does an awesome job on the webcast, kind of explaining everything and talking about what's happening.
They dumb it down very easily so
Exactly.
that people like you and me, or at least just me, can understand it, because I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I
Yeah.
know that it's cool and it's important.
Yeah, and so you kind of know, like, they every step of the way, like, oh, stage 2 is starting up. Now they're starting in this orbit, and they're kind of like, you feel like you're learning something.
Yeah, their broadcasts are very user-friendly. So they kind of this is going to seem kind of weird, but they reminded me of like old Bill Nye, Science Guy, where they take some, not necessarily highly abstract concept, but something where it takes a lot of study,
Right.
and they dumb it down so that people can understand it without even having to research it like at all, honestly.
And without making you feel dumb. Also.
I heard a lot of people were comparing it landing in the ocean to, oddly enough, to landing on the moon. Or they're saying that it's like a really like significant step.
It is a huge step. I was actually looking at this up before we started the podcast, and based on the numbers that have been kind of thrown around, there's different variances, but most of them are around the range of, it costs about $60 million to just make the stage 1 rocket from scratch every single time.
Jesus.
And so by saving the stage 1 rocket, which they obviously did by landing on the barge or landing it on land, which is a little bit easier, but by saving the stage 1 rocket, they're saying that it only costs like $500,000 to repair it enough so it's ready to go back into space again. I don't think they're reusing the one that just landed on the barge, because it did look a little burnt up. So they're going to probably be looking at it, because now they have a rocket they can actually see, all right, what was damaged in the landing, what can we do to fix
without
it?
it having blown up.
Exactly. So now they can look at that and refine it and continue to make steps to make it actually so they can every time they land something, they're like, all right, send it to the repair and we'll have a new rocket ready or repaired in 3 months' time. And it really makes it easier and cheaper and really sets the pace to have this cheaper form of space travel to where maybe one day it wouldn't be outlandish to just have civilians orbit the Earth or just doing something like that. And I hope that's
like something commercially viable.
Yeah, and that's something I hope we do in our lifetime. And it could be like also a step forward into searching our solar system even closer. I've come full circle on the whole colonizing Mars. I think it would be cool, but I also think it's kind of unnecessary and probably way too costly for what we would get out of it. But it'd definitely be like a huge step and something that would be really cool to at least see.
Yeah. I think we'd be better off just not colonizing something in our solar system, honestly. We'd be better off just going beyond and basically setting up like a lifeboat sort of thing.
Yeah, my astronomy teacher, he's written a couple books on traveling to Mars. He's basically saying going to Mars would be like sitting in your 4-door sedan, blacking out the windows, and just sitting in that 4-door sedan for 6 months. It's like, and that really puts into perspective the toll that would take on you. And not only that,
I would go insane.
Exactly, that was like his whole thing is people would go crazy and stuff like that.
I still think those people that are going to Mars.
I think they already got shut down. Like,
did it?
Yeah, that was like a huge. I can't think of the word, but yeah, it was never gonna happen, or it got released that it was all a scam or some shit.
I was really hoping that would like become a thing, and then you get to see like these people lose their minds during a 24-hour period, and it just be like
just killing each other.
Well, I don't know if they'd necessarily kill each other, but they just like go crazy, and it'd be like the prisoners running the prison sort of thing.
Did you see those interviews that they did with them? I think they released a bunch of interviews of the people that got chosen. It was really depressing. Like, these people were like, yeah, I'm just ready to leave my family behind. And they asked this one guy, he's like, are you prepared to die a virgin? Because I guess he'd never had sex before. And he was like, yeah, I'm ready to make that sacrifice. And he's just like, oh my God, I'm so, like...
You got to reach a certain point there.
Yeah. But going back to the landing, the best thing they did for that is having the flyby shot. I guess they had a helicopter or a
it looked
chase
fake.
Plane. It did, but whenever they showed the landing from a chase plane before, and I was like, oh wow, we're actually get footage of it at least blowing up, because usually it blows up and it just destroys all the cameras on there.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, SpaceX should probably start making boats for the Navy, because their boats can survive rockets exploding.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell that managed.
But yeah, the chase plane footage was amazing, because like they were counting it down too coming in. It's like, you should be seeing it any second now, and you see this huge rocket coming in. It's like, oh,
and it's coming in sideways.
Yeah, it was
like it was. I know how they did that, kind of, where they have just like it's having to do with like curvature of the Earth and stuff, where it's having to come in at that angle.
Right.
But just seeing it come in at that angle, it's just like something about your mind. It can't really like accept that that's real necessarily.
Right, and then when it landed, I was almost in like shock, like, oh yes, it landed, sweet. And then I was looking at the waves and the boat rocking.
I thought it was gonna tip.
Exactly, I was like, how is that thing not tipping over? Just because like you're out in the middle of, I don't remember if, I think it was the Atlantic they were in. I
think so.
How does that, like, the waves out there are pretty large. I can't imagine having to build a boat that just like the rocket can just stand on it and not.
It doesn't make sense that even happened.
It has to be so top heavy. I can't.
Exactly. Like it still defies logic that thing actually landed and like didn't tip over first of all,
and then
didn't explode.
Can you imagine? Because I imagine they have a crew that was like safe off site, and then they would come to the barge to secure the rocket. But can you imagine, like, you're driving in that boat, that chase boat or whatever, coming up to the barge, and you see this rocket up there that probably still has a lot of explodable rocket fuel inside of it, and you're seeing the waves in the boat shift and tilt, and you'd be like, yeah, so I have to get close to that thing and secure it down to make sure it doesn't
so I have
fall.
to use a bungee cord to tether this thing?
It's like how much, like, that, the nerves in that person has to be insane.
Yeah, you gotta be tough to. I don't think I could do that, honestly. No. I don't think I'd have the stones.
That's all I could think, because they just, like, I guess they were just hamming it in, like, we did this, look at it, look at what we did. Because it was literally, like, the only thing on the screen for probably 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
And they like every once in a while they would try to be like, and the capsule one is reach this, and, like of course the crowd's still cheering and cheering out, like you can't even hear what they're saying.
Yeah, it was such a cool moment though.
Yeah, it will definitely go down into one of those things. Like anytime I need to feel good about myself, ironically, I would always go to watching the Curiosity landing because I like seeing other people happy and like people who
Yeah.
spent a long time trying to plan this out and trying to do this. I can't remember the exact time frame, but I imagine it was at least a couple years. But
Hmm.
like that, seeing other people cheer and excitement like that always cheers me up. So
Yeah.
this will definitely probably go into that list of things I go back and watch and will show younger generations. Like I know where I was when it happened. Where were
Yeah.
you? Not alive yet? Sucks for you.
Oddly enough, I was actually in the gym.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I like never go to the gym, so it was
Way to
really
go,
funny.
musclehead. You missed it.
Yeah, because I was definitely lifting weights. Yeah. Oddly enough, kind of a side note, but if you ever want to make yourself feel good, just watch videos of other people laughing, and I guarantee you'll start laughing your ass off. It's really funny though, like how some people have like the most absurd laughs compared to yours, or however you perceive yours,
I'm
that you'll just start laughing because they're laughing.
I'm really actually really self conscious about my laugh. Like anytime I hear it in a recording, I'm like, oh, that's my laugh. I wish I could change it. But
I
it's
used to like my laugh, and now I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. I hate my laugh. If there was one thing I could change about myself, it'd be my laugh. I can't stand it.
exactly, yeah. That's something like I think someone actually pointed out to me, and before I even noticed it, someone's like, "Wow, your laugh is really unattractive." And I was like, "Well, thanks."
Wow, could you be any more rude?
It must have been in high school. I don't think it would have been anywhere else. But it was like, yeah, you'd
It
be
was
pretty.
definitely middle school.
No, it was definitely in high school because girls didn't talk to me in middle school. It was like you would be really attractive if you could fix your laugh. I was like, well,
Wow, that's harsh.
yeah, it's like, right in the ego there. Like I already told you,
Jesus.
I have a fragile ego. That was just like,
Yeah.
fine, I just won't laugh anymore. Fuck you. But yeah,
Yeah. Speaking of laughing, I got a good dose of that this past week when I was looking at the Doctor Strange set photos that have come out.
yeah.
Uh,
But I mean,
they're not good. They're really not good.
well, but you have to keep in mind that a lot of things will be added with
Yeah.
computer effects later. So like Iron Man, his suit looks like pajamas or something like that. Before they add
It
all
really does look like pajamas.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't like set photos don't really do movies these days justice because, or at least these highly technical movies where I'm sure they're doing quote unquote magic. I don't know if they're allowed to say magic. In the
Movie
MCU.
magic.
Well, of course that. But can the MCU use the term magic? I know that's
They can use magic. They can't use mutants.
it's so messed up.
It's stupid.
I hate-
I blame Fox. Fox sucks, and so does Sony. You both suck. Just admit it.
And while we're throwing at it, with Warner Brothers too. Let's just
Yeah, Warner Brothers, you suck too.
Let's just clear the entire air.
Just go down with the shit.
But yeah,
But yeah, the set photos do not look good. I believe it's Mad Mikkelsen, and I don't even remember the name of the character he's playing, to be honest. But I know he's like the big bad. He literally looks like he got out of like a Flock of Seagulls concert, or like some like really like hipster rave where he's wearing like this crazy purple and gray eyeshadow. It's like, what am I looking at? I know that it's more than likely probably going to be like his eyes are on fire or something, and he'll look like Ghost Rider should have probably. But from right now, just looking at it, it's like, what the hell am I even looking at?
Yeah, and based on the timeline for that movie, let me just double check when it actually comes out. Because
Yeah, it should come out.
it actually comes out this year. What the heck?
Yeah, it comes out. Oddly enough, like I think it's almost exactly a month before Rogue One comes out.
Yeah. So I was kind of hoping Doctor Strange would be the sacrifice to knock down Marvel movies a peg, because you know how there's always that escalation risk factor where
Oh yeah,
each movie has to be better and better and better and better, and at some point you reach a point where you really can't make a better movie because it's just not possible yet. So they have to have strategically placed bad movies in the bunch to make all the other movies look better. So, like Civil War, which we'll get to, just seems like it's going to be like top tier. So they have to top somehow their top tier. So I guess Doctor Strange could be a palate cleanser for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which will probably be pretty funny.
yeah.
And then I guess Spider-Man, it should be decent. I'm not expecting a lot, but I don't expect it to suck.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Doctor Strange, I personally have never gotten into that. I just can't get behind the whole magic thing.
Hmm.
To me, that's just I don't like it personally. So
What I've learned is to just shut my mouth because I'm going to eat my words when it comes to saying that this movie's going to suck because I said Ant-Man was going to suck, which I don't think it was a good Marvel movie, but it was still a decent movie.
yeah,
And I said Guardians of the Galaxy would suck, which it was an awesome movie. So
yeah.
both times when I said a movie was going to suck, it actually did fairly well. So I like to say Doctor Strange is going to be terrible. It probably won't be terrible. It probably just won't live up to what the people are expecting a Marvel movie, which I fully expect, and people are gonna just crap on it completely in terms of like, oh, this is the worst movie ever. It's like compared to what? Are you comparing it to Civil War? Because yeah, of course it's gonna.
It's yeah, especially because that's what comes out right before it. So it's like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna base my reaction off of what I just saw most recently, which Civil War is.
So basically, what I'm saying is,
It's there. It can't win.
when you go see Doctor Strange, because don't lie, you're gonna see it. Whoever's listening to this, you're gonna say you're not gonna see it, but you're gonna see it. Whenever you're after the movie ends and you're thinking, oh, what should I compare this movie to? Compare the movie to Batman vs Superman, and you'll be like, oh, this movie was amazing.
Actually, compare it to Batman and Robin.
Oh, Clooney, why?
Those bat nips, though. No, Doctor Strange, I really don't want to pass judgment on it, but I've never said that Marvel, like the new cinematic universe for Marvel, I've never said that one of them is bad. I think Doctor Strange is going to be bad. I really do. I think there's going to be good elements in it, but it's going to be a bad movie. I really do. I don't think I'm going to like it. I'm still going to watch it.
It'll
But
probably set up a lot of things, I imagine.
I hope that I'm wrong, but I just don't see it being a good movie. I really don't.
I mean, I could see it as like a setting up platform for future events. Like he's the reason why the Infinity War happens or brings like another step. He probably has an Infinity Stone.
Yeah, that's been rumored that the I don't even remember. I think it's either the time or the reality gem that he has access to.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
So that would be the last gym before Infinity War, I think.
I think there's still one more also.
Oh, the Ragnaros one.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if it's going to be Ragnarok or the second. Wow, I just brain farted. Or the second Guardians movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'll probably be Ragnarok because that makes most sense with Surtur and Hela in that movie.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll see. I hope that I'm wrong, though. I want Doctor Strange to be enjoyable.
what's going to happen is your expectations are so low. Like, my expectations were so low going into Ant-Man and so low going into Guardians of the Galaxy. And because they were so low going in, it being not crap would make it that much better. So,
Oh, I can always wear that as a prideful badge that I knew that Guardians was going to be good. But that's just me pumping my ego, let's be honest.
just go into every movie assuming it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, just assume every movie's Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, even Civil War. Just go and be like, this movie is going to just be the worst movie ever. Mm-hmm. And you'll be pleased every single time. I guarantee it. That's a Skyler guarantee.
Hype is a very dangerous thing.
It's a dangerous but necessary thing.
It is. It's completely necessary, but I like how Disney specifically has been dealing with their trailers recently. They've been doing a phenomenal job of not giving up too much and basically allowing the audience to go in with a certain knowledge of things, but still leaving plenty of surprises in there.
The Rogue One teaser trailer, that was an example of like you said, a very well made trailer because like we know the story of, well, we know the Cliff Notes version of what's going on or what the movie is, like the goal of it. But you don't know the events that go on. They just show like quick snippets of different things that could be taken way out of context and kind of leave your mind up to imagination for a lot of things. And like,
yeah, that trailer was phenomenal and not giving away too much. It was exactly what it needed to be. It was a teaser trailer. It didn't show too much. It raised the excitement to see the movie, and it generated like an interest in like, oh, I wonder what is actually going to happen. Like you said, like we know like the basic storyline, which is they're stealing the Death Star plans. but we don't know anything else beyond that. So there could be like plenty of different subplots and stuff that we have no idea about. And I'd prefer to go in blank minded as far as that.
But then that lies the problem is because this is a teaser trailer, that means there's still going to be 3 more trailers and some TV spots and other things coming out that go way overboard in telling what's going on and what's going to happen. And that's a problem that seems to be just reappearing in movies. Like, and maybe it's just because there's a small part of the audience that doesn't want to see that. Like, I would be completely fine if this Rogue One teaser was the only thing they had until the movie came out. Like, that would be.
But the problem
is
from a marketing standpoint, they can't do that.
Right.
Which is why it sucks. Because like, I'm gonna have to show some restraint. I think what I'm gonna not do is watch the TV spots, because for me personally, that's where a lot of the smaller elements are spoiled. Like for Force Awakens, when they showed the stormtrooper with the stun baton, that was completely ruined by the TV spot. And then there was another part, I think it was where the Millennium Falcon like does a flip and then it starts shooting. Like I never thought it was gonna do that, and then I was like, oh well, I just ruined that part of the movie for me. But as far as the actual trailers themselves, the Star Wars trailers for Force Awakens did an excellent job of not giving away too much information, giving you the bare minimum, and leaving the experience for the actual movie.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do for Rogue One, and I urge everyone else to do the same, to either watch one trailer or watch just the trailers, not the teasers and TV spots, because those are where the small things, the small moments of enjoyment get spoiled.
And that's where, like you were talking before, is hype plays a big role in how people judge films before they go see them. And like we were talking, hype is this double-edged sword where like you need to drum up hype to get people excited to go see the movie, so they actually go see the movie.
Yep.
But the problem is you can't control the amount of hype that people artificially give something, where they might look too much into something because they're really excited to see it, and then they start building up their expectations like, oh, they're going to show this, they're going to show this, they're going to show this, and then that movie doesn't live up to what they thought they were going to show or what they thought was going to be in the movie. And then you get disappointed because it didn't live up to what you thought it was going to be, even though the trailer wasn't showing that particular thing anyway. And I've seen that happen to so many movies.
There is absolutely nothing more powerful than the word of mouth, especially in the way of social media right now, where it's like, oh, I can tell 5 of my friends that this is a good movie. And then those 5 friends can tell 5 of their friends, and it just multiplies and multiplies. So in a day and age where everyone has access to basically say anything, they can say like, oh, this is shit, and influence 5 people's minds where it's like, oh, maybe this is shit, then that generates a lot less revenue. Right. Where on the flip side, if it's really good and they don't give away too much, and people telling their friends are like, oh, you need to go see this because it has this amazing moment in it. Like that is something that's really important for marketing, and it sucks that like they haven't caught on to that yet.
Well, I think they're aware of it, but you have to also remember that the people that do this are like they're like you would say like they're hardcore fans or whatever, so they know that they're going to see this movie. So they almost expect them like, okay, these guys they're going to see this movie. We're not making a trailer for them. We're making the trailer for the general public that may or may not see this movie. And so they have to drill into like your parents' heads or the older generation's heads that, hey, this movie's coming out. This is when it's coming out. Hey, look, this movie's coming out. This is when it's coming out. And they have to keep shoving information in just to appease the wider audience instead of just this niche audience, which is still big, but they have to go for the whole bowl.
Yeah, they have to go for, especially for this movie, like this is a huge gamble on their part. This is another prequel. A lot of people haven't realized that yet. So that's a huge gamble on their part, where the last 3 prequels were not so well received, to put it lightly.
Is it bad that I hope Jar Jar Binks makes a cameo?
No.
Like, at least a small one. I want to see him so bad. Like, I get why people hate him, but like, I saw... I can't even remember which of the prequels
Phantom Menace.
Yeah. I remember Jar Jar Binks was my favorite character, but that's probably just because I was so little when I saw it that
go back and watch it.
I should, but
go back and watch it, and you'll gouge your eyes out with a spoon.
I don't want to ruin the memory, though.
No, I completely understand not wanting to ruin the memory. And to the people saying, Skyler, you're insane, and clicking away from this video because he likes Jar Jar, I don't. So stick with us here.
It was a young me. Jar
Jar was obviously
made
a
for
very young you.
Jar Jar was made for the young audience.
Yeah. But anyway, to the actual trailer itself, I had a couple bullet points that I wrote
Shoot.
down. So basically, my opinions on it were that the trailer did exactly what it needed to do, and it showed some excellent things. It showed that the classic Star Wars still looks amazing with the stormtroopers, the rebels, the AT-ATs, the Death Star, and the Star Destroyer, and Mon Mothma, and a couple other things I'm sure that I'm missing. That stuff looked amazing, and it was a great homage to the original Star Wars movies, and it looked really well. On the other side of that, the new stuff I thought looked even better. So with the Grand Admiral, the hangar on the Death Star, which I'm assuming that's where it was, we get to see a fucking tank in Star Wars. That's pretty cool. We haven't seen that since like one of the original Battlefront games. And then we get to see Death Troopers who look phenomenal. I think that was probably my favorite part of the trailer, was seeing the Death Troopers. And then to play into the themes of what the movie is supposed to be, where Gareth Edwards is saying that it's supposed to be like Saving Private Ryan set in the Star Wars universe, I thought the trailer captured that greatly, where it was very gritty, very harsh, and very warlike, which is what they kind of want to be.
Well, and that's something that I kind of thought was missing from, the Star Wars universe is we never really get to see a large war, at least not one that I can remember. It's always kind of just short. Like there was the battle for Hoth, but that didn't last very long, at least in my memory.
Yeah, we mostly see Hoth, Endor, and Yavin, and those are the three main battles in Star Wars as far as the wars are concerned. So we haven't really seen like the actual like gritty side of like, oh well, we're in the trenches with them now. We haven't really seen that. And this trailer showed that that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, that was something I was really excited to see, where they were storming the beaches. Like you said, I didn't even know he was talking about Normandy, but that's exactly what I thought was. That reminds me of Saving Private Ryan. Whenever they were
the AT-ATs are shooting down at them. That was that was the money shot of that trailer.
The one downside to this trailer, and I'll probably be the only one, is that annoying horn sound that played for like a minute. It's like, it's like
you're the only one.
It's like I get it, but why?
I think they could have toned it down, because in some parts it was it would like rise and then it would lower. I think it should have started lower and built up to a crescendo to that final shot.
Yeah, but
that's the way I would have handled it. I would have had it very low key, and then low key, and then I would have worked it up to the peak moment. So.
But I will say the piano Star Wars tune gives me chills.
At the end?
Yeah.
At the end, there were two moments in the trailer where I like still get chills. Like I watched it like before we started this podcast, and I got chills again. Like it was the part, oddly enough, where the siren comes on, just because it's so classic. And then
I didn't mind the siren at the beginning, but I just felt it went on too long. But yeah, go on.
And then the second part was when Jyn Erso, when she turns to the camera, and she's wearing that. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but it looks like the TIE Fighter pilot armor mixed with maybe a Stormtrooper's armor. And then it cuts to the black, and it has I believe it's Binary Sunset and Imperial March. Those are two songs. I believe those are superimposed over each other. Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I can't not listen to that and not get chills. It's so good. It just works. It's oddly enough that like we've never heard those two themes mixed before, and there's such polar opposites in Star Wars, but they fit together perfectly.
Yeah. That was probably one of the moments that stuck out a lot to me, was just that, and like they ended it on such a great note. And it's like, oh, let me watch that again.
Yep. It's like immediately it's like I gotta watch it again. You can't not watch it.
Which is what they desperately need in trailers, and not like with whatever that Melissa McCarthy movie was.
Oh Jesus, the boss. Yeah, she's the boss, all right.
Yep. Yep.
I did have a concern with the trailer, and before we start, I am not being sexist when I say this. I think the female lead, just from what we saw in the trailer, where she had like two fucking lines, so it's very hard to judge that, but based on those two lines, I think she was overacting for those two said lines. But I'm really excited to see what she can do, and I want to see another strong female lead. I want her to be the quote unquote Katniss of this, which is what's going around now. I
Oh
don't give a
God.
fuck. I don't care about that. I just want to see another strong female character because they're awesome. They're much more compelling than male characters as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that was one thing I was kind of worried about, where they showed. I don't even know what the guy's name is, but they kind of showed him off in the corner. I was kind of like, is he gonna be kind of taking like a side character role, or is he gonna kind of become this important person as well? But yeah, I hope that, like, I didn't even know she said a line. I guess that shows how much I pay attention. But I didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, I just
she
don't.
says like, oh, it's like, oh, this
Oh
is a
yeah,
rebellion. I rebel. That line made me
yeah.
cringe a little bit. And then there's another line. What the hell is it she says in that one? It's like, oh, yes, sir. She just does it with like, I don't know, kind of like snarkiness. But I want her character to be good, and I'm definitely going to give it a fair shot because she could be like the new badass, honestly.
Right. Do you
So,
think they'll turn Rogue One into its own trilogy, or is it just going to be
absolutely
Rogue
not.
One?
Even if it's successful, I don't think they will.
You
I
want?
think what they're really looking at doing, and I don't think they'll ever tell us this, because so many people are wanting there to be a story and a series and a saga based on the Old Republic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so much goddamn source material to leech off of. Like they could make an entire saga just based on that, and it would be wildly successful because that's how the games have been. The games have been wildly successful, and I don't even like the games.
I imagine, depending on how this, because we don't know what happened to the crew that stole the blueprints to the Death Star. I think I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen New Hope, but it'd be interesting if they do end up surviving. It'd be interesting to see if they kind of, not Rogue One too, because that would be ridiculous. But if they kind of spin it into like, now there are these Imperial spies, or there are these spies that go in.
Yeah,
And
I could definitely see them making a sequel to this, but not really a sequel, if you know what I mean. Where it's like they take existing characters from
Right.
this movie and put
Yeah.
it in another one, so it's not like an official sequel.
Right. Yeah. That's
But
what I mean.
the guy you were talking about, where he was kind of off to the side, the guy with the mustache, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he looks a lot like Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron from the new movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost convinced that that's his dad, and that not necessarily there's going to be any romance between the female lead and this guy, but I think this guy is Poe's dad because he was alive during that time. So it matches up. It doesn't mean it's necessarily the right thing, but I basically screwed myself into believing it at this point.
And that goes back to the point where you start hyping stuff up that you think is true. Like you look at this trailer and it's like, oh, this looks like this, and you start making these dots, and people
Yeah.
at Disney are like, no, he's just a pilot.
He's just some guy. It's
Yeah,
like-
and it's like, then you go see the movie and it's like, oh man, I thought he was going to be Poe's dad,
yeah,
and you kind of like have that you're kind of let down, even though you shouldn't be let down.
yeah.
It's kind of like, it's that dangerous double-edged sword again. It's just that thing that
It's like I've basically superimposed like myself into the writing staff, where it's like, yeah, I'd make that his dad. It's like, oh shit, I'm not actually the one writing this. I should stop thinking this way.
yeah. I mean, it's a common thing. Like, I do it all the time.
Yeah, and I love to like theorize and like basically take these what if situations, because those are so fun to just think about and like not even necessarily like write about, but just to take those situations and just like plan shit out.
Right.
Like I could analyze the entire trailer for like an hour and come up with different things, and I have.
It's
But
but you can do that as long as you recognize that you
that's
may be
just
wrong.
an idea.
Yeah.
And I'm not the one who's creating it.
Right.
So, yeah, that trailer was peak. Still isn't my favorite trailer, but it was a really good way to introduce the property. And people were complaining that the night before they had done a teaser for the trailer, which is stupid. That's just a teaser. You get to see the trailer. Like what we saw is the trailer. What we saw the night before is a teaser. People are just getting stupid. They're like, "Oh, it's a trailer for the trailer." It's like, no, you fucking idiot. It's just a teaser.
I like teaser trailers for teaser trailers.
No, it's
I
stupid.
can't wait till we have teaser trailers for the teaser trailer for the teaser trailer.
That's never existed. People are acting like teasers for trailers have never existed just because we see them all the time on the internet now.
Yeah.
It's stupid. They've always existed. You just haven't thought about it before because it's not like right in your face where it's like, oh, look at my Facebook feed. Everything is Rogue One. It's not like that, or at least it
It's
wasn't
like,
like that.
did I like Rogue One? I didn't even remember that. I guess I did.
Yeah.
But I guess that kind of goes into other good trailers, and that would be the Civil War trailer that came out a month ago, right?
It was a month ago at this point, but it deserves re-mentioning
Mm-hmm.
because I believe it was last night at the time of this recording, which is the 10th of April. Um, Different screeners were shown. I don't know, maybe it was just one screener for Civil War
Mm-hmm.
for different press and people close to Disney, I assume. And the reactions are really good.
Yeah,
So
the one that stuck out to me because Winter Soldier is probably one of my favorite MCU movies, which
it's
is
my
kind of,
favorite.
yeah, which is kind of funny because the first Captain America movie, I can't remember what it's called because I purged it from my memory. It's probably my least favorite MCU movie.
Go back and rewatch it. I guarantee you'll like it.
But
I hated it at first too.
but it's the quote being is from Kevin McCarthy. At 8 p.m., Winter Soldier was my favorite MCU film. Roughly 2.5 hours later, Civil War is now number one. And so him saying that is just like because that matches my thoughts. Is that right now, Winter Soldier is my favorite movie, and now that this person changed their favorite movie to now the new Civil War movie, which just makes it all that more exciting because it kind of matches what I think or what's in my head.
Yeah, it's definitely the hype is real,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
this is proof to that because these people like they're not paid to go see this movie.
right.
They're not. They're invited there to go see
Well,
it.
they're not paid by Disney. They're probably paid by
They're probably paid by their employer, but at the
right.
same time, they're not paid to give a good or a bad reaction. They're paid to
Right.
give a reaction.
No,
So
Marvel was paying all these movie reviewers to give Batman vs Superman bad reviews.
yeah, a lot of these people that have given the reviews, and you can find it on ScreenRant.com. You can find this reaction page, which is where we found it.
Yeah, I'll probably put
A
link
lot
up
of
in.
these people gave reactions on the Batman vs Superman when they saw the screeners for that, which didn't go too hot, as I'm sure everyone is aware of right now. So seeing people basically palate cleansing
Mm-hmm.
with Civil War and having it be like such a step above what Batman vs Superman could have been is good to hear because I had high expectations for Batman vs Superman and they weren't met.
Mm-hmm.
So I really am hoping and I have faith now that Civil War can deliver on that.
Yeah, and like the trailers have been really well made, except for the ending of the second one where I was hoping so much they wouldn't show Spider-Man because I wanted that to be like
They didn't need it.
well, it didn't need it in the trailer, but I'm even sad they even brought it up in the first place that Spider-Man was going to be in this movie because think of the reaction of people in the audience watching this movie having no clue Spider-Man's going to show up and then Spider-Man shows up and
Yeah.
just like their minds melt like, "Oh my god, how? I thought Sony owned Spider-Man." And like just having like automatically I'm losing my words. It was like, "Oh, they're making a Spider-Man movie? What's happening? What are they gonna do with Spider-Man? Did Marvel own Spider-Man now?" Like that automatically starts drumming up this buzz from future movies
Yeah,
that they
it
haven't
definitely
even planned
could
yet.
have. I think there was just so much pressure and buildup behind it for Marvel to take that property, not completely, but almost entirely off the hands of Sony after their hilarious fuck up with Amazing Spider-Man. And I'm including the first Amazing Spider-Man in there. That's the only movie I've ever walked out of in the theater. Absolutely terrible.
You should have gone seen 999.
I'm sure I would have walked out of that one too. But yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, but I can also see where they're coming from.
Yeah, yeah.
Not in showing him. In showing him, they shouldn't have done it. In saying that they've casted him and that he's in the movie, I can agree to that. But as
Yeah.
far as showing him in the trailer, absolutely unnecessary. It completely ruined the atmosphere of the trailer, where it was very like friend versus friend conflict and very brutal, and it's not going to be a family friendly movie. And then fucking Spider-Man out of nowhere. It's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's in there just for hype.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
cheap. It was cheap hype though. It wasn't like, oh, this is like an amazing shot. It's like, oh, like it'd be like Jesus showing up, be like, hey, look, there's Jesus.
Hmm.
Follow our religion now. It'd be like that, where it's like, oh, hey, look, it's Spider-Man. You should come see this movie now.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was very cash grabby.
it might have been more of just like we want to show the audience what he looks like, I guess. Which
Hmm.
that was some debate whether or not, like, I saw back and forth on him looking really good and him looking really bad.
It
I don't really
looks.
have an opinion. He
I
looks
don't
fine to
care.
me.
It doesn't matter. It's the first costume he has. It doesn't even matter.
Right. But I like because Spider-Man was told to the world that he was going to be in this movie. I still wanted to be a surprise on when he shows up in this movie.
I mean, it still could be.
Well, I mean,
We
yeah,
we don't necessarily know where he shows up in the film. Like that may not be the first time we see him.
maybe not the first time we see him, but probably the first time we see him in action or
Maybe.
in any high capacity. So now you see, oh look, the airport scene. I wonder when Spider-Man's going to show. Oh, yep, there's Spider-Man. That took that entire moment away.
You say that, I guarantee you, you'll be so caught up in the movie you won't even remember
That's
like where he
that's a
showed
strong
up.
possibility. That I could be pretty good at forgetting spoilers when I get things spoiled for me,
I can't.
but I have to
I have
let
a
myself
curse.
forget. Like that's the thing with hype is if I'm really excited to see a movie, I'll constantly remind myself about spoilers I've read. But if I'm like, oh, I read that Norman Reedus dies in the first 6 minutes of Triple Nine, and then I go see Triple
Spoiler,
Nine,
Jesus Christ.
and then I go see Triple Nine. It's already out of theaters. It's like, what are you gonna do? Buy it on DVD?
That was out of theaters like in a week.
It's like, oh, I wasn't all that excited. I already forgot that he died in the first.
I was excited to see that movie and I was gonna go see it, and then I got pulled the weekend that I was gonna go see it.
God,
So
talk
now I
about a
know not to
letdown.
go see it.
Talk about a let. Like, I went to this movie for the sole reason of seeing Norman Reedus in something other than Walking Dead. He's like, you came to this movie to see him? We're just gonna kill him. It's like,
You want to
oh,
see a movie with him?
yeah.
Watch Boondock Saints or one of the. Damn it, I don't remember which Blade movie it was. I
it's
think it was
Blade
Blade
2.
3. Maybe it
Or
was
3.
Blade 2. I don't remember. But he's in it. He is definitely in that movie, and I saw it. And so is Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, great. But yeah, I think it's a really great time to be alive for movie wise.
Yeah.
For now, it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. Like, not only just Marvel as a whole, because they're gonna run into the escalation problem with Avengers because
Yeah.
of course they have to you have to end somewhere. You can't just be like, oh, here's the biggest bad guy ever. All right, well now we're gonna
Yeah,
go back to Zemo and I don't even know who else they could even go with
Yeah.
anymore.
There are other people, but it is interesting to think about where we're in an age completely dominated by sequels, reboots, and franchises. So it'll
Which I'm
be
worried
interesting to see what happens after, because it will happen. Marvel will drop off the face of the earth, probably at Inhumans, unless they have something lined
That's
up with Fox and Sony. If they can get certain properties from them, then they have possibilities. If they can't, it'll be interesting to see how the film, like how the film world changes. Because like before superhero movies, I would say that it was sort of like the mythical stuff where it was like
mhm,
Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and I'm sure there was something else that I can't think of off the top of my head. But that was like the
Aragon.
shut up. But that was like the dominating force,
Mhm.
and then it quickly transferred right over into the superhero genre. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe at that point Star Wars or something else will be able to not necessarily fill the void, but just like completely overtake what Marvel is right now. And I know it's not going to be DC.
Yeah. Well, what I imagine is going to happen with Marvel is because Disney's already made their money back 20-fold on what they paid for those properties.
Oh yeah.
They could just sit on their cash for a while and then like 10, 15 years down the line, just reboot the entire series and start over. It's like,
You mean
remember
like Fuller House?
yeah, exactly. Like, you remember the Avengers? We're gonna give you Avengers again with a different cast. You're gonna
And
love
they'll
it.
be
You're
in a
gonna watch
retirement
it.
home this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll probably just do that. And probably go more with a lot less big time, or like to span a gap. They would do a lot of small time superheroes that you don't even really think about.
That's one of the big problems, as far as I'm concerned, with comics, is you get this huge escalation, and then you just get this such a terrible period of stagnation
hmm
until the threats reach another like high
until
point.
until they escape from prison and you have to do it all over again.
Exactly. Like the whole New 52 arc for DC has been not so good,
hmm
in my opinion. But the Batman Court of Owls and Night of the Owls is one of the best issues of Batman, and it's like it's such a damn good story, and it deserves to be told in a live action setting. I think they should just freaking scrub the Justice League at this point and just solely do goddamn Batman stories. Because at this point, you have your Batman, Ben Affleck. Just build on that. We don't need to see origin stories. We just need to see stories. That's why Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises did really well, like commercially, is because you'd already told the origin story with Batman Begins, which was the best origin story, and then you went into these other stories where you're branching out from where the character was and which you've already seen, so you don't have to build, you don't have to waste the first 15 minutes. Oh, look, my parents are dead.
Yeah, because anyone seen that movie already knows that.
Exactly. And even if you haven't seen the first movie, it doesn't matter. That's the way they set it up. Is the reason like that it did so well is you didn't have to see the first two movies in order to jump into the third one, or you didn't
Right.
have to see the first one to jump into the second one. You could just jump in at any point.
And like kind of going back to the whole like Marvel thing surviving after their movies have long gone away. Like we're completely forgetting that they're in the TV space now. They're in live streaming. Like the Netflix shows are extremely popular, and they continue to expand on those. And that's something that
And
I'm
Netflix is the perfect place for the
exactly
smaller scale people to live on, like Daredevil and Punisher. Like that's perfect setting is where it's smaller budget, smaller scale people, and they can do smaller scale events, which is amazing. It works really well, but
and
there
they're
there
like
is going to be a certain point where they can't do that for the movies.
well, yeah, maybe not movie wise, but they still make their money in Netflix. I would almost argue that a lot of the shows they're essentially movie quality, and then you have I think there's 13 episodes, so you have they're like 13 hours of entertainment, and like you have that for 4 or 5 months, and then they come out with Iron Fist or whatever's next in their to-do list.
From what I've heard, they really have their shit together with their Netflix
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
So
Well,
I've heard that
they have
Daredevil season 2 was like phenomenal.
they definitely improve in every aspect as they continue with these shows.
That's good. And it's nice that they release all of the season in one sitting,
Yeah,
which seems like a small thing, but at the same time, you don't run into that like stupid TV trope where it's like, oh, I wonder, or now I have to wait for next week to see it. It's like I can just click go and
the,
we can
the
just watch it.
the downside of it is that you watch it all in like a 2 day span, and then you have to wait 363 more days for the continuation of the story. Whereas if they did like a weekly release or bi-weekly or whatever, you would only have to wait 4 5 months, if
That's
that.
true.
So it's like that
That's true.
space wise,
That's a
where
good point.
would you rather have all your entertainment in a couple day period and just
Yes.
get all the story, which I like it, but then you after you finish, you kind of feel this emptiness inside of you, like I really want more.
Just
But
rewatch it.
well, yeah, but it's not as great. Well, I guess it is still good.
You
You want to give it
that's
some
the thing
time.
with Netflix is like if we think about it in terms of like normal TV where each episode is released each week, it takes longer to get everything done. But you don't get the satisfaction of watching them all in order.
That's true.
So you can't just go back and be like, oh, I'm going to start here and then catch up to this week's episode. And I'm going to start back at the beginning and then catch up to the next week's episode. You can just like, oh, I'm going to start at the beginning and I'm going to watch it to the end. And I'm going to start from the beginning and I'm going to watch it to the end. There's closure in that.
Right.
It sounds kind of stupid, but it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I can't complain because honestly, it was really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I have
so.
to see it. I've heard high hopes. I have heard good things, and I have high hopes.
Yeah, you
So.
should definitely get Netflix would be worth it for the sole reason of watching the Marvel properties they have on there.
Yeah, And Pokemon.
And Pokemon. I think they only have the original though. So.
All right, so
I think that's a good place to stop.
Getting pretty close to the end. Quick question.
Okay.
Top 3 movies.
Top 3 movies ever, or
ever? Your favorite 3 movies.
All right. Come back to me.
I'll do mine real quick before we jump back to yours. Number 1 is Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Number 2 is Jurassic Park, and number 3 is Predator. So those are my 3.
I was kind of hoping you would take longer.
Well, tune in to the next podcast.
I'll think because
No, it's gonna take you too long now.
Well, no,
that's what we're gonna open on next time.
I have a gut reaction to what my favorite movies are, but
they're
they're all pretty new, and it sounds really cheesy.
Nah, do it.
So
want to hear it?
All right, tune in next week for Skyler's top 3 movies. I really don't know.
All right, yeah, that was pretty bad. I put you on the spot there.
Yeah, I'll think about it for next week. How about that?
Okay, that's what we'll open on next week. Is Skyler's top 3.
Please forget.
No, I'm not. Of course, I'm not gonna forget. Plus, the internet won't forget either because all of you are gonna write your top 3 movies in the comments.
All of you.
And I'm gonna read them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna disagree with them. Because my top 3 are the best top 3.
And then I'll write down your top 3 and just steal those because I don't want to sound really
he'll
bad.
actually watch those movies and then he's just gonna shit all over them just to shit on my dreams.
Yep. I will crap all over your dreams.
No, but seriously, write your top 3 in the comments, and we'll look at them.
And we'll judge you.
Who knows? Maybe we'll even respond.
Huh?
What? A response from a channel? What is this?
No way.
Also, don't forget to leave all your hate comments. I'll read them too.
Yeah, just don't make fun of my laugh. I know I laughed a couple times. I'm really sensitive about it, guys.
Bring the hate. I want to feel the fury of the internet. I want you to bring the pain,
Alec, please.
they say.
Alec, please, no.
Not just to him. So, make sure to tune into the next podcast, which will come out in some time.
Yes, we will figure out a whole release schedule for this channel shortly. Whatever day this comes out, I would expect it to come out on the same day from here on until...
Maybe.
We'll see. But we have some other stuff planned for this channel that hopefully we can do because we have a lot of things that we want to do. We're just running into having the access and the ability to do them. So we'll try to figure this stuff out.
We will figure it out, and you're going to watch it because it's going to be amazing.
Yes,
and we're going to put a hell of a lot of effort into it.
It's going to be Star Wars quality. You heard it here first. It's going to be just like it's going to be better than Star Wars. It's going to be better than Marvel Civil War, not the Civil War, because the Civil War was pretty bad. So we'll definitely be better than that.
It was a 5-year war.
It will be better than Marvel Civil War. You heard it here.
Guaranteed better than Batman vs Superman.
Guarantee. I can personally 100% guarantee that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See you guys next week.